Next up, we got our Juke Box Jury segment. We're going to be reviewing 3 songs by 3 original artists. I'm going to introduce you to my fellow judges. First up, we got singer, musician, entertainer extraordinaire, CrossFit gym owner, strength and conditioning coach, Mr. Ed Conway. Welcome, Ed.
Thanks, Joe.
What introduction!
I don't know that anybody's ever used that many things to describe me before.
And from New Jersey, we got Berkeley School of Music graduate, music producer, engineer, entertainer, concert trumpet player, Mr. Joe Miraglilo. Welcome, Joe.
Oh, boy. Hey, what's up?
Another great build-up, right?
How about that?
Okay, right. We're going to review 3 tracks here. So, 3 original artists. First, a band called Love and the Guitars. A song called Man on Mars. Let's give it a listen. Ed, I'm going to go to you first. What's your views on that one?
Yeah, man. Initially, when I heard it, I was like, man, this is very Beatles reminiscent. But then I started to think about it. It actually reminds me of Take It Easy by the Eagles. I was confused because the guy's voice sounds like a mix between Lennon and McCartney. So that's why I was initially like, it's a little bit Beatles. But then, especially when it got to the guitar solo, I was like, very reminiscent of Take It Easy. Not to say that they ripped it off by any means, but just a very, I guess that's a compliment when you say, like, you sound like the Beatles or the Eagles. Like, it's very easy to listen to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I thought when the vocals first come in, I thought a little bit of the Bee Gees, but that nasally Bee Gees melodic voice when the vocals first come in. That song, for me, that's because I've heard their other stuff. Steve Galdi, the singer, he's a rock guitar player, and a lot of their stuff's fairly heavy. That's quite mild. That's why I chose that track, actually, because a lot of their other stuff is quite rocky. And that's quite mild for them.
I never got that from that song.
No way.
No, yeah, honestly, he's a rock guitar player, and he played right through the 70s in rock bands. Steve, the lead singer. The end threw me a little bit. I thought the end threw me a bit. I wasn't expecting that near the end because it was so laid back right the way through.
To me, I thought the ending seemed like an afterthought or like a mistake. Like, because none of the elements in that ending or in the song at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What's your views on the song, Joe?
Well, I mean, I looked at it in the studio, and I checked a lot of the stuff out with it, mainly the mix and all that kind of stuff. It was definitely a mastered track because the RMS hovers around like -9 dB. But I noticed a significant high frequency roll off about 10K, and the mix is mono. It's literally mono. There's left and right. It sounds like a drum machine and a keyboard bass to me. Interesting, the intro is only 7 bars long with that guitar solo. Thought that was interesting. What I found is the vocal doublings are a little pitchy and not lined up timing-wise. Then in the verse, they bring in this cheesy keyboard string sound halfway through. Then it stays in all the way to the end of the song. It really doesn't leave much room for building the arrangement at all.
Now, because you're an engineer and producer, so you're looking
right.
at like a lot of people wouldn't look at it that way, so I know what you mean.
Yeah, I kind of look at it like, song structure, that kind of stuff. The other thing was weird that during the guitar solo, he brought in this unrelated vocal melody that he was humming that I thought was distracting to the guitar solo. You know what I mean? I thought, if you're doing a guitar solo, don't bring in another melody. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, the song in general, you like the song in general, guys?
I mean, it's not really my thing, but I mean, I come from a jazz background, so it's hard to, I mean, after doing, popular songs in piano bars for 20 some years, it's a little different, but from jazz,
I would say it's one of those songs that, if you're on a good road trip, if that song came on, you would let it ride, you know what I mean? Like it's a good, easy listening song. I agree about the ending. I think, it kind of the ending reminded me a little bit of Back to the USSR by Beatles, where you had the jet, kind of coming up. But like Joe was saying, like it's not related to the song. Like there was not, even the sound effects weren't related to the lyrics of the song. So I didn't really understand why they did that. I think they could have left that out. But yeah, I think all in all, like I said, if I was on a road trip and that song came on, I wouldn't be disappointed.
I could see it in the Flower Power era as well.
Oh,
I'd like to hear some of their heavier stuff just to see what else they...
I was going to say that, yeah. They're called Loving the Guitars. And a lot of the other stuff is fairly heavy because he's a rock guitar player, Steve Galdi. Yeah.
In the other songs, the rock stuff, is he singing in the rock stuff?
To be honest with you, he's not like a raspy singer. His voice is pretty... like that, but the songs are...
I'm sure he sings differently in heavier rock stuff, right?
Don't get me wrong, this is not like metal, heavy rock, that style, but
that's like heavier guitars and stuff.
Yeah. He doesn't rip it to bits, if you know what I'm saying. He doesn't like...
Yeah.
But I'd like you to listen to the other stuff there, yeah. So that was Love and the Guitars, Steve Galdi and Glenn. Let's not forget his partner Glenn. She's in the band as well. Next up we got Mr. Gavin Pring. Now, Gavin Pring, before we play this, I just want to say Gavin plays George Harrison in the Fab Four Ultimate Tribute Show. And they're the biggest. I know there's tons of Beatles bands. These guys are the biggest in America. And probably one of the top in the world. The Emmy winners. I've seen the show. I've been to see the guys, and they're fantastic. But this is an original song by Gavin Pring. It's called Disharmony.
In the misty morning rain, I find I'm all alone once again. If I can't see you, I can't be to blame. I saw a glimpse, then you were gone. I don't know how I'm to carry on.
Gavin Pring, Disharmony. I'm going to start with you, Joe Miraglio. What do you think?
I really like the song. Very well written, and the arrangement is very fitting. I was amazed at how high he started out the vocal, pitch wise. Because I mean, that's really. I mean, I can't start a song off that high myself. But I like also like the modal interchange that he uses right before the chorus. He goes to a C major chord in the key of E, but that it kind of goes along with the title of the song, Disharmony. And then the background vocals, 3/4 of the way through, very beatly harmony, and then really the use of that 4 minor at the end was really nice, and very hooky with all those O's. I like it.
Yeah, I think you can't get away from the fact that he plays George Harrison, and
right,
to be that good of the way they portray the Beatles, to be that good, it must be hard to get out of that shell sometimes.
Sure.
Because if you see these guys, it's quite scary at times. Actually, when you actually watch them, but there's nothing wrong with having George Harrison influences just because he plays George Harrison. That's still his song. It's a Gavin song, even though there's George in there. You can see the George Harrison chord changes for sure. I like when the bass drum comes in. When it comes in, but the thing is, I was listening out for some bass there, and I don't think there's any bass there. I like to see a bit of a melodic bass coming in. I like to hear a bass guitar on that one when the bass drum comes in. That's my opinion. I think a little bit of bass, but yeah, great song and a great hook. I think. Yeah. Ed Conway, what do you think?
Well, I think you can definitely hear, like, when you told me like this guy plays George Harrison, then yeah, I totally heard it. But honestly, I don't know if either one of you guys remember the band Jellyfish from like the late 80s.
I don't remember them
90s.
at all. Yeah.
Dude, the guy's voice is like uncanny. I think, Joe, I played a little bit for you last night.
That's right, yeah.
Because, yeah, and I mean, the guy sounds exactly like that.
And he does, yeah, he really does, yeah.
His name was Anthony Sturmer. That really struck a chord with me because that was kind of an early 90s band that I was like, oh man, this band sounds different than anything else that was coming out at the time.
Yeah.
And then the song format, I mean, it was like if the Lumineers had a baby with Hey Soul Sister by Train. Like that was like, just like the format of like, it starts out really stripped down and then the bass kicks in and then the tambourine kicks in and then just the percussion constantly builds throughout the whole course of the song. I really dug it. I agree about the bass. I think they should have at least maybe towards the end of the song then brought the bass in for maybe the last chorus. I think that would have been cool. But yeah, all in all, I really, really dug the song.
They were in town a few weeks ago. The show itself's fantastic because not only do they portray the Beatles right through the ages, they have a guy who plays Ed Sullivan who's in and out the show. There's a lot of comedy in the show as well. It's not just someone playing the Beatles through the ages. And like quickly at the start of the show, Ed Sullivan will come on. He said, before we introduce the boys, and he does the pure Ed Sullivan bit. You're going to hear these guys twice tonight. You're going to be entertained by them twice tonight. And he says, well, first of all, we've got a celebrity in the audience. Can we have the house lights up? From his reality TV show, Dog the Bounty Hunter. And everyone's turning around. This is the start of the show. And he goes, he says, sorry, ma'am. Can we put the lights back down? So the whole show is the Fab Four show is incredible, it really is. But that was Gavin Pring, plays George Harrison. These guys are Emmy winners. They won an Emmy for a PBS special. He actually also played live Sgt. Pepper, the whole album right through on PBS. Next up, we got Irish rock band based out of Houston, Texas. This is Pirate by Blackguards.
With poison pen I sign allegiance and my musket and my line. Will I guide the tide or I'll plunder on command? For if I don't leave tonight I shall be damned.
That's from the new album Blagmatic, Blackguards, Irish rock band from Houston. I'm going to start with you, Ed.
Yeah, I think the last time we did this, there was another song that that by them that you sent me, and I like this one. I think probably 10 times better. This was, I mean, you definitely feel like the Celtic rock, very Dropkick Murphys, vibe to it. But I like that it's a little bit more metal in some parts. Like I definitely hear like hints of Whiskey in the Jar by Metallica. And especially when the singer does the oh yeah, like that's like straight up James Hetfield right there.
Yeah.
But I like it though because it's catchy enough where like I could definitely see this being, like a college, frat boy anthem. Like how Shipping Up to Boston was. That was huge in campuses. This is definitely very reminiscent of that type of song.
You say the Dropkick Murphys, a little bit of Flog and Molly, like the modern Celtic Irish stuff. I've seen these guys a few times live, and very exciting band live, very entertaining.
Also, the intro was very cinematic. I felt like, man, that could have been like the background music to like Schindler's List. It was very just like, wow, that's super dramatic, But then it kicks in and it's like, oh man, this is cool.
The band are so tight. I mean, I've seen them live and you hear how tight they are there together. I love the violin.
Yeah.
The violin's
Yeah.
great on it too. I could see that being in a rock musical.
Yeah.
Something like Tommy. Joe Miraglio, what do you think? Blackguards.
Well, listening to the mix, obviously it was a pretty well-rounded mix. The EQ is like smooth all the way through the frequency range. The only thing I could use in the mix is just a little more kick drum. I thought it was a little light on the kick drum. But then, as the song, like 3/4 of the way through, they have those breaks where the violin is in there. I like what the violin's doing, but it's hard to hear the violin. I wish they'd have put the violin a little higher, because then I could enjoy it better. But I agree with Ed about the beginning. I really enjoyed the intro of the song. It's really nice. It's real. It's the elements that they did was really nice and is kind of cinematic. You kind of visualize, so that in your head. But I didn't hear the tightness that you're talking about with the band. Like I heard some rushing leading into the first break from the guitar lead.
You don't think they're together as a band?
Just that I heard a little bit of rushing in the guitar, and then the background vocals weren't lined up. Like I heard that they're like different entries, like on the same notes. Like they weren't tight note wise. You know what I mean? Like when you listen to like a band like the Eagles, their background vocals are all tight. Every note is on, and you hear a chord in every note that they sing. But even Metallica, when they do background vocals, they're right on. They're not. If you listen to the background vocals, you'll hear what I'm talking about.
Okay. I mean, that band does a lot of traditional stuff as well, their own style. They do the old, Wild Rover and all that stuff. I've seen them live, but they write their own stuff as well. And on this album, they've actually done a version of Tom Jones's Delilah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they've done Delilah on this album. And it's brand new. It's called Blagmatic. It's been a while since they've been in San Antonio. I saw them, it's not there anymore, Moe's Irish Pub. They played Moe's Irish Pub in the Quarry, which isn't there anymore. But they play a lot around, they tour a lot, but they're based in Houston. They do a lot in Houston.
I would love to see them live, but it's hard to see bands live these days myself.
Yeah.
All the playing.
Yeah, it's got to work yourself. It's hard.
I hear what you're saying, Joe. I don't think that I mind as much of a little bit of sloppiness with a band like this, because I hear a band like this and I don't know what they look like. I have never seen a picture of any of these guys before, but you hear music like that and you this dude hasn't showered in 5 days. He's probably got, long, just that grunge, feel that you heard bands back in the day where, it was a little sloppy, but that's what made it kind of authentic,
Well, he's actually from Dublin.
Like pub bands didn't really care as much.
Right.
you know.
But the lead singer, Patrick Devlin, he's actually from Dublin. He is Irish. He's from Dublin. The rest of the guys are American. But he's from Dublin and Ireland, yeah. And they actually go over to Ireland. They do that for the fans. You buy tickets.
Do they play over there?
Pre-COVID, they were going over there. And the fans from here go with them. They all go to Ireland.
Oh, sweet.
And the American fans go with them to Ireland. And they've done a lot of stuff like that, yeah.
What kind of venues are they playing over there?
They're doing some theatre stuff soon. Paddy's Day, I know they got some. I looked at the schedule, the touring schedule. They do a lot of Irish State as well. But over there, yeah, just the Irish venues.
Yeah.
Around Dublin, yeah.
Well, that's cool. I mean, that's being able to travel around the world playing music is pretty cool.
It is, yeah. But check them out because it's a great band to watch. They're very exciting to watch, very entertaining.
Blackguards.
And Blackguards, that and the new albums, Blackmatic.
Do they have any videos?
Yeah.
Actually, any of these bands have videos you can see, like live videos.
Yeah, you can see them on YouTube. I'm not sure about Loving the Guitars because they don't do much on YouTube. Blackguards you can check out on YouTube, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely Gavin Pring, Fab Four. Gavin has a solo project called George Harry's Son. George Harry's Son. Yeah.
Clever.
He used to do that in Liverpool before he came to America because George Harrison's father was named Harold, and that's where he got it from.
Oh, neat.
That's where he come the name up, George Harry's Son.
Cool.
But check out Gavin's stuff, yeah. Check out Loving the Guitars, and I said that was the Blackguards. Sorry, they're just called Blackguards. They don't like to call the Blackguards, it's just Blackguards. And that's the new album, Blackmatic. Well, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. I'd like to thank you for your time. Joe Miraglio, Ed Conway, for your valued opinion. And everybody, it was Joe Miraglio, Ed Conway. That concludes our segment this month of Juke Box Jury. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
See you, Ed. See you, Joe.